NASA and SpaceX breaks barriers today. We'll show you how this rocket launch made history.
Hurricane Ian destroyed, but President Biden says help is on the way. Florida residents talk about rehabilitation efforts.
Tonight, Yom Kippur comes to an end, and I am standing outside USC Hillel, where services will begin shortly.
Annenberg TV News is next.
This particular event was actually put together by LADWP's Green Team. So it's a very grassroots group of employees that have banded together and really want to help embed sustainability within the organization.
Rising gas prices in LA are hitting customers hard. Good evening, I'm Eric Choi.
And I'm Maya Vinnett. The LADWP hosted a clean air fair in DTLA today, all a part of an effort to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels. The fair saw considerable turnout with people lining up for exhibitions, including workshops and games. Visitors engaged in several activities where they could win prizes like free plants that reflected the spirit of the event, reducing air pollution.
The beauty of it is that for the yard trees, you go in our site, you'll be able to select what type of tree you want. So you can scope out your area and kind of design like, oh, this is what I want. I want a jacaranda here, or I want, maybe a holly leaf over here.
We have very ambitious goals, right? Very ambitious targets. The goal is to be 100% carbon-free energy by 2035. We're at about 60% carbon-free, and the goal is to be 80% by the end of this decade.
Visitors were encouraged to take the Clean Air Pledge today. The commitments, from composting to carpooling, were everyday things that people could do easily to mitigate their individual impact on the environment. Rising gas prices are causing pain for drivers. Trust me, I know. The LA Metro has a solution.
The Los Angeles Metro is offering rideshare services on its bus, rail, and bike share services today. It's to promote this year's California Clean Air Day. The goal is to cut back on air pollution by encouraging people to get out of their cars and into public transportation. Even people who rely on their cars say they hope programs like these will lead to more riders on buses and trains.
It's definitely persuading people to take advantage of it because, our planet's literally dying. I feel like even offering one day of just a way to curb environmental pollution is just heading towards the right direction. It's a good first step.
Free rides. Got it. California has some of the worst air pollution in the United States. According to LA County Metro, taking public transportation can reduce carbon dioxide emissions by 45% compared to driving alone. The state's first Clean Air Day was held 5 years ago by the LA nonprofit Coalition for Clean Air.
There were mixed reactions today as the Los Angeles City Council voted unanimously on Tuesday to end renter protections that were put in place due to the COVID-19 pandemic back in 2020. Evictions due to non-payment will resume in January 2023. No-fault evictions with pets, where landlords can ask tenants to vacate without reason, will continue in January 2024. And rent in rent-controlled apartments can increase starting February 2024.
Over 100,000 people lost jobs during the COVID, and it set people back generations. And for them to put the protection in place, landlords were trying to push everybody out because nobody was able to pay rent. A lot of people wasn't able to pay rent. So now, with the rent protections in place, it protected them and their families. You know what I'm saying? While they're able to find jobs, some people still can't find jobs.
The policies were put in place to protect people who were unable to pay rent as a result of being laid off or sick amidst the pandemic. However, mortgage payments were not paused, and homeowners renting out their units to tenants who weren't paying rent were still responsible for making those payments to banks.
These COVID protections have now been in place for nearly 3 years, and it's a long time for owners to have to sit back and foot the bill, not collect revenues, while at the same time they've had to pay all their taxes, pay all their city fees, pay for utilities, pay for repairs and maintenance at their buildings. And it's just too much for the average owner to bear.
Eviction moratoriums do not give tenants a pass on missed payments. Those debts are still there, and when protections expire, landlords have legal rights to collect any missed payments. President Biden assessed damages caused by Hurricane Ian before a meeting with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis today. Our political reporter, Darielle Fair, has more on the story.
Thank you, Maya. The president met with state and local officials and took an aerial tour of the devastation in Fort Myers. He also announced plans to rebuild stronger infrastructure in the affected areas. A Florida resident said many locals have been pushed out of their communities in needs of gas and other essentials.
It was just a greater impact. There's still a lot of people without power. The residents of coastal Naples and coastal Fort Myers, they are kind of headed this way to seek out just essential goods like gas, foods, restaurants. So it's definitely, they're coming this way.
Biden toured hard-hit areas like Fort Myers and Sanibel Island alongside Florida's Republican Governor Ron DeSantis. The two rivals seemed to set their politics aside, pledging to cooperate on rebuilding and cleanup. That was welcome news for volunteers on the front line.
We went out early in the morning before most of the people had gone out, and we basically went around down all the roads to see if anybody was stuck. And we cut down any trees that we could, any trees that were blocking a way of any of our neighbors to be able to get out to safety.
Governor DeSantis praised the good coordination between his administration and the White House in response to hurricane recovery. Reporting in studio, I'm Darielle Fair. Now back to you, Eric and Maya.
Thanks, Darielle. Here in California, over 700,000 newly naturalized citizens will be able to vote for the first time in this year's midterm elections. That's according to a report released today by a coalition of immigrant rights activists. The group Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights also announced that its headquarters have been certified as a voting center. They hope that will attract more first-time voters to cast their ballots.
New American voters are going to make a difference in these elections at the state, at the local level, at the national level. There are a lot of ballot initiatives, and so we have so much power to determine the destiny of our society.
I think with our Asian American students in general, oftentimes even within our household and our family structures, there may not be an energy behind understanding the political process or understanding the different resources that might be available to you. So I really would love to encourage our Asia Pacific Islander students to understand the information, understand the process, and then share it with your family, share it with your parents, your uncles, your aunts.
California's newly naturalized citizens are predominantly from Asia and the Americas. Only 10% hail from Europe and Africa. The greater Los Angeles area is home to most of the state's new citizens.
An Ohio man has found an ally in his lawsuit. He's suing over his 2016 arrest for a Facebook parody account satirizing his local police department. This week, The Onion filed a legal motion in the case saying the arrest threatens their business model and is a government attack on free speech. The organization says, quote, Onion writers also have a self-serving interest in preventing political authorities from imprisoning humorists. Student satirists here at USC couldn't agree more.
Satire, in essence, kind of reflects people back at themselves, especially in the U.S. It reflects the country back at themselves in a way that kind of prompts consideration. Setting a precedent of that not being allowed anymore is kind of dangerous because it just has implications for free speech as general and also just our ability to reflect on the problems in our society.
For those who didn't know, The Onion is a satirical publication. The man ended up spending 4 days in jail, but was eventually found not guilty. The Supreme Court is now reviewing his lawsuit against the police department after it was dismissed by 2 lower courts earlier this year.
A campus organization at USC is working to stop the rise of eating disorders like anorexia and bulimia. The USC Eating Disorder Awareness Association was formed last year. The organization acts as a support group and helps promote awareness about symptoms, effects, treatment, and the prevention of eating disorders. Up to 20% of women and up to 10% of men in college suffer from an eating disorder.
It is important for everyone to just be aware of what these signs and symptoms are, because you will never know who is struggling with these issues.
Eating disorders are not something to be glamorized. And recently I overheard someone in a sorority say that they had starved themselves for several days to fit into their invite dress. The Eating Disorder Awareness Club will bring light to that issue and hopefully provide support for people that are struggling.
You can find more information about eating disorders by calling 1-800-931-2237 or at nationaleatingdisorders.org.
Never discount yourself. Find words from a woman breaking new grounds in space exploration.
Tired of microwave meals? We'll bring you the scoop on fresh green produce grown by USC students.
A controversial rapper is at it again. We'll bring you the latest match he's struck.
Worried your friend's struggling but don't know how to reach out?
You could say how are you or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could write them a text or knit them a sweater. If you can't be together, you could write them a letter. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You could ask on your couch while you binge watch. However you do it, you gotta ask a friend. And if they don't share, you can ask again. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
The first Native American woman was launched into space today on a joint NASA and SpaceX mission to the International Space Station. Nicole Mann is a former Marine Corps colonel from the Round Valley Reservation in Northern California. After 18 months of intense training, she will serve as the commander of the Crew 5 mission, making her responsible for all phases of flight. The mission will spend 6 months in orbit, conducting medical research at the space station and includes astronauts from Russia and Japan. Mann's launch comes 20 years after the first Native American man was sent into space. Well, we know what's going on in space, but let's find out what's going on with this LA weather. Mariela?
Thank you so much, Maya. We are taking a look right here at the beautiful Los Angeles right at 5 o'clock in the evening as the sun is starting to set a little bit earlier, more than usual as we get in more into the October weather. Last time that I saw you guys, it was still summer, but now it is October. But I am so sorry to tell you guys that our weather is still looking a lot like it's summer. Our current temperatures are sitting at a comfortable 73 degrees. I think it is that perfect time to bring out that light jacket, a long sleeve sweater, something comfortable that you could get in and out as our weather continues to shift, but continues to be a little hot. Let's take a look at our 5-day forecast right over here. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, temperatures going up just a little bit, but still staying in the 80s and in the mid 60s. Sunday and Monday, you're looking still in the 80s, with Monday being the coldest day. Being the coldest day given in Southern California, that means 80 degrees right over here in the fall. So it is beautiful California weather, and it is perfect for spending some time outside. So let's toss it over to Julia, who spoke to the USC Garden Club in her segment, Food for Thought. Julia?
Thanks, Mariella. Here's some food for thought. I'm no green thumb, but it is Green Week at USC, and to celebrate the university's second annual sustainability initiative, we paid a visit to the Parkside Garden. There, members of the Garden Club gave us an inside look into their efforts at growing fresh and free produce right on our very campus. The secret garden is hidden behind the Parkside Arts Humanities building. It's home to an array of vegetables and native flowers, and it grows everything from cherry tomatoes to cucumbers. It even has a free composting station for students' food scraps. Students say the location is dedicated to promoting sustainability on campus.
Definitely the biggest benefit of growing your own produce is that there is no means of transportation that is required. You get the plants and you are able to directly consume them, cook with them. However, if you purchase from larger monocultured crop growers, then they have to transport those crops from their farms over to whatever locations they are being sold, and also just reducing that carbon footprint with the lack of driving transportation needed for it.
All students are welcome to pick any produce from the garden, but the club also encourages students to grow herbs like basil and rosemary in their kitchen so they always have access to fresh food. Well, that's all I have on Food for Thought. Happy Green Week, everyone, and now I'll toss it over to Eric for the news.
Thanks, Julia. Today is Yom Kippur, a day of atonement and Judaism's holiest day of the year. Jewish people have been fasting, praying, and repenting for their sins all day before they break fast later tonight. We spoke to a student from Occidental College in Eagle Rock about why he decided to commemorate Yom Kippur at USC.
We do not have a large enough Jewish population at Occidental to have our own service, so we've come here for a great service. There was no Haftorah, which is normally something that I've had in the past, but it was good. I got to have an Aliyah, which is like the blessing before reading Torah, so that was good. Normally at home, I have a large break fast. I go to services in the morning and and I fast, obviously. It really connects me to my ancestors. It connects me to Judaism, and yeah, it's a struggle, but I get through it, and it just brings me back to ancient Jewish times.
USC Hillel is hosting Yom Kippur services tonight, followed by a break fast at 7:15. Over to you, Joey.
Thanks, Eric. Judge takes flight into the record books. The Cougars come to Los Angeles with the Trojans in their sight. And soccer strikes again as Arizona brings the desert to Los Angeles.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Welcome back to ATVN Sports. I'm Joey Elbaum.
And I'm Carlo Jimenez.
High fly ball, deep left. There it goes, soaring into history. He's done it.
The verdict is in, and Aaron Judge is the new AL single-season leader in home runs. Judge hit his 62nd home run of the season last night, breaking Roger Maris's record 61 years later. Judge's record chase is over, but baseball is just gearing up. Joey, what can you tell me about this year's playoffs?
Well, Carlo, the MLB postseason is set. The Los Angeles Dodgers and Houston Astros locked the top seeds in the National and American Leagues. This season, the MLB changed its postseason rules. In a new 12-team postseason, the AL and NL have 3 wildcard teams. The top 2 records in each league receive byes, while the last division winner joins the wildcard teams in a best-of-3 wildcard series. The winners advance to the division series to take on the league's first and second seeded teams. So, Carlo, obviously this is a big switch up in the and how the MLB works and how postseasons run in MLB. What can you kind of tell me? What are your thoughts on this new structure?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to miss the one game, winner takes all, move on to the next round. But I think we're going to see the better team in the regular season advance further in the playoffs because you're playing more games. The law of averages is going to set in.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, though, teams like the Cardinals, teams like the Braves that normally winning their divisions would have a first-round bye. Now they're in a wild card with 3 other teams that, to an extent, didn't deserve to make the playoffs as much as the division winners did. So I think it really will be interesting to see how it comes down to it because teams like the Dodgers, Yankees, Astros, and in the NL have byes, but now teams don't. So it really will switch up how the game is run.
Sure will be interesting. It's the middle of midterm season here at USC, and the football team is busy studying for their biggest test at home this season. The Trojans take on the best unranked team in the country as the Washington State Cougars look to ruin Trojan Family Weekend. Joey, who should parents know this weekend in Crimson and Gray?
Well, Carlo, Mom, Dad, to come away with the win against the Cougars on Saturday, the Trojans offense must keep an eye out for redshirt senior linebacker Dayon Henley. Henley received Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week honors in Week 3 of the season. Washington State ranks 3rd in the entire nation in tackles for loss and 7th in the nation in sacks. Henley leads the Cougar defense with 44 total tackles and 9.5 tackles for loss. USC lineman Brett Nealon spoke after practice on Tuesday about the challenges the offensive wall will face to protect quarterback Caleb Williams.
I think we just need to clean up our technique. I think sometimes it got sloppy. They got some great talent up front, great schemes. And they're going to play hard. They're awesome players, and they bring it every snap.
With a fierce defense hungry to make it into the top 25, the USC O-line must be ready for the rush from Dayon Henley and the Cougars. Carlo, for your parents watching at home this weekend, who should they be looking out for on Saturday?
Yeah, Joey. Well, Mom and Dad, it's not hard to miss. Quarterback Cam Ward is the player to look out for. Ward is a transfer from the University of Incarnate Word, where he led all of the FCS in touchdowns a season ago. In his first season in Power 5 football, Ward leads the Pac-12 in completions. Ward has conquered challenge after challenge throughout his collegiate career and now comes to USC looking to lead the Cougars to a win over a top 10 team on the road for the first time since 2003. Kalen Bullock spoke to the difficulty of trying to slow down the quarterback.
Real good passer. I would say he got a real good arm, talented quarterback. He likes to scramble a lot and throw on the scramble, so I would say that.
Well, Joey, Ward took one in-person class at Incarnate Word. It was a dance class. How did the Trojans stop him from dancing all over him on Saturday?
Look, at the end of the day, the Trojans are going off against a strong Washington State team, a team only one place outside of the top 25, almost beat Oregon a couple of weeks ago. But what Cam Ward really has been keeping up with is the interceptions. 7 already on the season, 2 in the last 2 games. So, I mean, if you really want to stop Cam Ward as a Trojan defense, you got to force some turnovers early.
Yeah, totally agree. You also have to protect your quarterback. Caleb Williams has not been great on the run. He's been much better when he's had a clean platform in the pocket. And we mentioned it earlier, this is a Washington State team that's one of the best at causing tackles for losses. Trojans have to give Caleb time.
Absolutely. Should be interesting to see how this game goes. Also this weekend, the Desert visits Los Angeles. 8th-ranked women's soccer take on Arizona on Thursday and Arizona State on Sunday. In their last 10 matchups, the Trojans are 6-4 against the Sun Devils and are on an 8-game winning streak against the Wildcats. Croy Bethune is 2nd in the Pac-12 in goal contributions. She leads the Trojans in goals with 5 and the entire Pac-12 in assists with 7. Kickoff is at 3:30 on Thursday and 12 noon on Sunday. Bring your parents to celebrate the Trojans' senior day against the Sun Devils. And that's all the time we have for sports today. Joined by Carlo Jimenez as always, I'm Joey Elbaum. To those fasting, have a good fast and a good break fast. And Eric, back to you.
Thanks, guys. Alec Baldwin reached a settlement after the tragic accident on the set of Rust. One SCA student weighs in. More after the break. Stay with us.
Lávate las manos por 20 segundos como Elmo.
Hay algo especial acerca de este lugar. Se siente como un hogar, una sala debajo del cielo y los árboles. Rodeado de aire fresco y la naturaleza. Todo aquí para que lo disfrutemos y para que lo cuidemos. Tenemos la responsabilidad de cuidar de esta tierra que llamamos casa, de preservarla para las generaciones que vienen. Cada acción pequeña contribuye para un cambio mayor y cada uno de nosotros podemos hacer la diferencia. Hay algo especial acerca de este bosque. Es un lugar donde se hacen recuerdos y juntos podemos preservarla y protegerla.
Words on a t-shirt worn by one of the world's most famous rappers continues to be controversial. Ye, also known as Kanye West, shocked guests at what was supposed to be a secret fashion show during Paris Fashion Week. This shirt, reading "White Lives Matter," triggered an immediate response from the internet, some in support but many condemning it. Kanye then criticized Black Lives Matter on Instagram. In a statement, Black Lives Matter said Kanye's words and actions could spread toxic confusion and be used to legitimize violent acts against Black people. Some in the USC community also condemned his statements.
When his mother was managing him, I think that loss he's just never recovered from. And he's just been spiraling ever since.
I feel like with his platform, it's a very dangerous message to promote, and it just screams ignorance.
Didn't he wear a MAGA cap? Didn't we see that? So I'm just going to leave it at that.
Ye's fans have had mixed feelings about his personal politics for years. The Anti-Defamation League has labeled the phrase "White Lives Matter" hate speech, which for some fans could be the last straw.
Alec Baldwin and Rust movie producers reached a settlement with Helena Hutchins' family after the wrongful death of the cinematographer. Production on the film will resume in January. As part of the settlement, Hutchins' widower will act as executive producer. The 42-year-old was fatally shot by Baldwin, who was practicing with a gun he had been told was not loaded. The actor claimed he didn't pull the trigger. Students we spoke with are concerned about weapons on the set of this fatal incident.
Came up through the camera department, so I know a lot of female cinematographers, being one myself. So I was like, who is this? Like, what's happening? A female cinematographer is getting shot. I'm reading the article 2 pages in, and then the last paragraph, it says her name, and I know her, and I've worked with her. So it was just very heartbreaking. It was like unreal. I didn't even believe what I was reading. I'm like, this is real. Oh my gosh, what's happening? Following protocol and safety is so important. Safety first, more than over anything else. If we're not safe, then what are we doing?
The Santa Fe District Attorney in charge of the case says criminal prosecutions against Baldwin and other producers are still possible.
USC Hillel is the center of Jewish life at USC,
Yom Kippur,
and it's where students are gathering. Our Olivia Tyler is there where services are being held this evening.
Today is Yom Kippur, and I am here outside the home away from home for the Trojan Jewish family, USC Hillel, where a Minha service will be taking place shortly at 6 p.m. This is the shortest prayer service of the day, and it takes place in the afternoon or just before sunset. Jewish individuals have been in and out of this building all day as they celebrate the holiest day in Judaism. There will be 2 more services following the Minha, and Jews here at USC Hillel will be breaking their fast at 7:15 with a traditional Jewish feast, as they have not drinking or eaten anything in the last 25 hours. For Annenberg Media, this is Olivia Tyler. Back to you in the...
Yom Kippur is over and so is the show. Thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. For everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Maya Vinnett.
And I'm Eric Choi. For more coverage, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Annenberg Media. Good night.